Right, folks. Well, joining me now at rockposer.com is none other than vocalist Mr. Blaze Bayley. Welcome to rockposer.com.
Hello. Do I have to pose?
No, you can if you want. It's entirely up to you. Well, it's got to be said, I can't believe already it's your 9th solo album coming up, which of course is Endure and Survive.
Yeah, that's great, isn't it? Oh, it's amazing. It's it's amazing to me. You sure you're counting it right?
Just everything seems to happen in the blink of an eye. But then again, I suppose when we get to sort of our age, everything does seem to happen like that when we look back. But it's we look back. I mean, how many albums you have actually released? I started totting them up, and I suddenly realised, my God, I didn't realise you'd actually done so much stuff. When you start looking through your collection.
I've called it at the shorthand that we use for these albums because we're on the Trilogy now. We say, right, well, this is album 9.2, so it's the 9th album and it's the second part of the Trilogy.
Yeah.
So that's the way that I've done it. And when I started the Trilogy, as soon as I know that it would be a trilogy, then I also set the release date. So I said, right, we're going to aim to release on or around the 1st of March each year. I don't want it hanging over,
right,
or it'll come out when it feels right, because I really think the biggest part of it is work and using the available time. So I always like to set the deadline on any of my projects before I actually set the start date. So, for instance, as soon as we knew that we wanted to release the first album around the 1st of March, then I said, right, then the other two, that we're going to do exactly the same, because we know roughly when we want to tour and all of that. And it's much easier, I find. You work backwards. I always work backwards. Right, I want to release it on the 1st of March. That means I've got to have my artwork finished by this date. And 2 weeks before that, I've got to have my mastering done. And 2 weeks before that, I've got to finish mixing. And 2 weeks before, and it goes back. And pretty soon you're going, blooming hell, we better get started. We're running out of time already. So,
when it comes to writing, sorry, Blaze, when it comes to writing on the Trilogy, have you carried stuff over from the other albums? Did you sit down at the very beginning and go, right, I'm going to write a trilogy, therefore I'm going to do X number of songs and I'm already going to write X number straight away? Or have you approached each one separately?
Well, what I did was I didn't realise it was a trilogy until we got 16 songs.
Right.
And I was looking at my deadline again and we were going, well, how are you going to have time to do all that and still release it on the 1st of March? And I thought, you know what, I'm not. And that's when I thought, well, that's because this is bigger than one album. This is the idea. I'll take myself out of the pressure of fitting the whole story onto one release. If I make it 3 things, then I've got much more room to explore the ideas of the characters and what the story means. And that's when it became the Trilogy. And that's when I said, right, the other ones were going to fit on the 1st of March each year. And so we had 6 ideas, roughly, left over from the first one. And the way that we approached the writing, from then on, we were always writing 3 albums. And it was whatever ideas came up, what we would have to do is find out where they had to fit in those 3 albums. So we came up with ideas on this one. We didn't say, right, we've got to do everything for album 2. Every time we came up with an idea, we'd finish it and get it to a certain standard and then say, right, we'll leave that now. And when we come back later on, we'll review all the ideas and we'll see which are the ones that make sense to be part of album 2 and which ones we should hold on for album 3. And it's an unusual situation to be in because so many times in my career as a professional musician, and I know this happens to a lot of other people, you really don't know if you're going to get that next release because it's up to the record company. or something like this. Will the band even be together? Can you keep a group of people together? So it required a certain amount of discipline and courage to say, right, we're keeping these songs and they're going to be on the next album, and the next album will come out on this date and we will record it. And you're like, right then, that's what we're going to do. And I think this is the advantage that I have of being independent. You know, I am the record company. I can set the release date, and it's not investors or anybody like that. It's my fans, my loyal fans that pre-order my album. They are the ones that make it possible for me to do this. And because I have that support from those people who pre-order the album and trust me to do something the best that I can, the highest quality that I can, because I have that trust of those loyal fans and that support, I've been able to do it. And that's just been such a massive help to me on a creative level. It's been incredible, really. So I have to say a huge thank you to all of my loyal fans who've pre-ordered the album and made it possible to carry on, really.
Not just from a health point of view, but surely on a personal level, it must put an awful lot of sort of warmth and love into the fact that these people have stuck with you and have supported you over so many years.
Yeah, and what I do is, as part of the Ultimate membership package, then we have a Skype option where if you've bought the top package, then throughout the year and throughout the recording process, then I put time aside where you get a special account name and we verify it and everything. And you can spend time on the phone or on Skype with me. And I talk to everybody. All the guys that pre-order it, that want to talk to me, that have ordered the Ultimate package, then I Skype with them as well. And they can ask me anything, whether it's about the new album or anything, really. What I've had for dinner, I don't mind. And it works like that. So really, yeah, I've always felt that from the beginning that the fans knew a lot more about music and what good metal and rock should be than anybody that worked at the record company. You know, bar for one or two individuals I've met along the way, most of them haven't really got a clue what it's like or what it is to be in a band or why people love bands. You know,
true.
So I trust the fans more than I trust anybody else. And that goes right back to the Wolfsbane days. When we started out with Wolfsbane, we were the biggest unsigned metal band in the UK, selling our own T-shirts and tapes, just driving ourselves in our van, and we could play to 300 people sometimes. And we were unsigned. And, you know, it's very, very rare to see anybody do anything like that now.
Oh, good
but
God,
it always made me feel, well, the fans are the ones that know. If you do your best and it's something interesting that people want to listen to, then I think it's good, you know. And I hope it's taken a long time, but I think that's proved to be the right attitude, just to trust the fans.
Well, speaking as obviously a music fan myself, I mean, what you're offering there as part of the Ultimate package, the chance to chat to you about music or what have you, for me, that as a fan appeals far more to me than, you know, these £150 meet and greets where, you know, you have one photo and a quick signature of a CD and pushed out the side.
Well, we don't do meet and greets like that. I've always done a free meet and greet. That's before it was ever called a meet and greet. And if you come to a Blaze show, unless I'm ill or I have to catch a plane, then I sign and have photos with everybody that bought the ticket. There's nothing exclusive about it. I feel that it's important for me as an artist to say thank you directly to the people that support me. I'm in a place where I really want to be right now. I play the venues that I want to play, some of them very small, some of them quite big, but they're all places that I return to because I like them, and my fans like seeing me there. So we don't do these meet and greets. For me, that's a part of being independent.
Yeah.
I don't have to ask my fans for even more money. They've bought the CD, they've bought the T-shirt, they have bought the ticket, and now I want them to spend more money. And I don't think it's right. I absolutely do not think that that's right. And I'd never charge for a meet and greet at a headline Blaze Bayley show. In other circumstances that are beyond my control, I'm working for different promoters or different situations, I've had to do that, not by choice. But any Blaze Bayley headline show on the European tour, this time and last time, and all over South America, for the last few years, I've never charged for a meet and greet. And it's always been the minimum, I feel, that as an artist I can do to say thank you to people who bothered to get off the settee, get away from the telly, and come out and support live music.
I totally agree. There are certainly quite a few bands that I see these days who have exactly the same attitude and do exactly the same thing. Because, well, you know what the music scene's like, and there are an awful lot of armchair fans, unfortunately, who don't get out the venues, and we're going to lose these venues if we're not careful.
You know, that's the other thing. It's so hard to run a venue of any kind, and some people just treat it as if it's a God-given right that you would be able to play somewhere. You know, it's very, very frustrating, the amount of work that it takes to keep a venue going and focus on live music. It's incredible. It's a massive amount of energy. And, you know, we lost a lot of venues when we had the big recession, when a lot of bigger pubs closed that were on the edge already. So I think, you know, we have to cherish the live venues we have and support them as much as we can, especially the local ones.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, thankfully, I'm fairly lucky. I am with 2 or 3 decent local venues, even though I'm not in London. And, you know, thankfully there's people who support those venues, and we get to see bands. Because at the end of the day, I mean, you look what most bands charge for playing these venues, and we're not talking horrendous sums of money. Most people pay more than that going for a few pints down the pub anyway. So they might as well get out and see a live band and enjoy themselves. Yeah,
I think you sometimes forget, you get a bit jaded, you forget the excitement of seeing your first few bands. And it's one of the things that I find that my fans enjoy so much is they see a fully professional band playing with passion in a small venue where you don't often see that. It's usually amateur bands. And to do that is a great feeling for me. And it's something I really, really enjoy doing.
What was the first band you ever went to see which sort of lit that fuse to the enjoyment of music?
I think on the local scene in Tamworth, that we were so lucky when I started with Wolfsbane. We had 20 bands on the local scene, and you could hire the venue yourself, Tamworth Arts Centre, for £100. And if you got 100 friends and £1 in, you actually made a bit of money,
right?
Or paid for the venue. And we were very, very lucky, you know, back in those days. And I think all of the bands in Tamworth of that time, we didn't realise how lucky we were, you know, to have such a great music scene. But I think the thing that really turned me on was seeing Ronnie James Dio on the Holy Diver tour.
Right.
You know, I've seen a lot of bands up to that point. I'd seen Maiden and a couple of times, but it was actually seeing Ronnie James Dio. That was the thing. He cast a spell on me.
The catalyst,
that just kept me going, for live music. And I remember I got the tour pass for AC/DC. I managed to steal the tour pass for the AC/DC World Tour from Rick Rubin, who was the producer at the time. And I went to see AC/DC 3 times on that tour, in different locations, where it just coincided. I was in London, they were in London. I was in Los Angeles, they were in Los Angeles. And it was just brilliant, man. And Guns N' Roses, I saw Guns N' Roses do their first ever UK show at the Marquee in London. I also played that same Marquee in Wardour Street that the Rolling Stones played.
Yeah, I saw you at the Marquee back in those days. I mean, I was a fully paid up member of the Marquee Club back in those days, both at Wardour Street and obviously then it moved to Charing Cross Road. The bands I saw there for ridiculously small sums of money. I mean, some of my best memories probably of going to see bands have got to be at the Marquee.
Yeah, it's a classic. It was a 400 capacity, which I think, what did they tell me? The manager at the time, Bush, he told me that, it's a 400 capacity, but UFO had 1,800 people in here, or something ridiculous. Something stupid. And, those are just brilliant
My God,
days, going backwards and forwards to London and seeing bands at those kind of venues.
Yeah, it must have been like the Black Hole of Calcutta with that. If there were genuinely that number of people in Wardour Street. I mean, it was bad enough when it was full at the Better Times with the ceiling dripping.
Yeah, I've got great memories of playing there because sadly we don't have that venue any longer.
No, but, and the one on Charing Cross Road's are bloody Weatherspoons. God help us.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's tragic, really.
It is.
But that's it. Think life goes on, things change. There'll be somewhere else, where people play, but we'll always remember the magic of seeing those first big artists when they were small at those places. And I think, that's one of the things when I'm on tour around the UK this year, playing in those venues that I play, I'll be playing a lot of smaller rooms, and that's one of the things that feels good. I feel the excitement of when I went to see Guns N' Roses at the Marquee in Wardour Street with, it was a 400 people cap. I feel the excitement of it when I go to small places. So that's what I'm really excited about on the UK tour this year.
Well, obviously, I mean, we need to quickly touch on the tour before we finish. I mean, you are going out on a full-blown tour, obviously kicking off in Europe, but also you're doing North America and Canada into the bargain later in the year.
Yes, we're starting going around the UK first, and then we're off all over Europe, and we've got a couple of dates in the summer. We've kept June and July fairly free. We'll be doing quite a bit of writing in those times as well. And then August, September, we are going to USA for first headline Blaze Bayley tour there for quite a few years. And then October, we're back in the studio. So we've really piled it up this year, and I'm very, very excited about it.
Well, Blaze, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. Best of luck with the album, which, of course, as I mentioned at the start, Endure and Survive. And must also mention, and mustn't forget, obviously the title track is available right now to buy as a single and download, etc. Best of luck with the tour as well, and hopefully speak to you again in the future.
Okay, thank you very, very much indeed, and thank you very much for your support.
Cheers, Blaze. Take care.
Cheers. Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye-bye.